have Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. A reminder to ask your questions, use the raise hand function, and then we'll put you in a queue. And reminder also, do not activate your camera. So we have a continuous video of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins answering those questions. So go ahead and use raise hand, and we'll start taking questions. First question goes to Reed Wilkins. Reed, as soon as your microphone's active, you can start. Go ahead.
Hi, Ryan. Hope you're doing well. I want to ask you about Leon Draisaitl, who was a finalist, announced as a finalist for the Hart Trophy today. I mean, you've got to play with him ever since he broke into the league. What can you say about just his progression as a player, and how do you feel to have a teammate nominated for the Hart?
For sure. Definitely well-deserved. Everybody knows that. I mean, offensively, we all saw, I mean, points-wise and how he can dominate what he did this year. But at the same time, he also drove our team energy-wise a lot of games, and really dialed it in defensively too, and kind of put it all together this year. It was great to see, and yeah, no, I mean, over the past few years, I mean, his all-around game has definitely taken another step and gone to another level. So definitely well-deserved, and happy for the guy.
Next question, Derek Van Diest. Derek, as soon as your microphone's active, you can ask your question. Go ahead. Hang on. Sorry, Derek. Go ahead. Your microphone should be unmuted now. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Ryan. Obviously, you guys spent a lot of time on the power play and penalty kill today. I just wanted to ask you about the power play and what made it so successful during the season. I know you guys have a lot of talent on that unit, but I guess I imagine there's more than just the talent you guys have on the ice. What is it about your power play that made it so potent this year?
We took a lot of pride in it for the past few years. I mean, it's something that we know it makes a big difference in games and throughout the season. So, I mean, we take a lot of pride in it. We can make the plays out there, but at the same time, a lot of the time we got to go get the pucks back. And I thought we did a really good job of that this year. And then out of the chaos, we create a lot of offense out of that. So I think we can make plays when they're there, but at the same time, you put a shot on net, you get a rebound, and a lot of the time we're creating great scoring chances off the chaos.
Next question from Tony Brar. Tony, go ahead.
Ryan, just to piggyback off the last question, obviously in the playoffs, things really tighten up at even strength. So how much more essential does it become to have that power play continue operating at an efficient rate?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Both sides of it. All special teams will be huge. Our penalty kill took another step this year too, and improved a lot. And we gotta keep that up and keep that going right away once we start playing Chicago. So special teams in playoffs are huge. A lot of stuff tightens up and buttons down in 5-on-5 plays. So I gotta take pride in that special teams.
Next question, Jim Matheson. Jim, as soon as your microphone's active, you can go ahead.
Ryan, a couple of things. In your mind, what's the difference between a most outstanding player and a most valuable player? Because the Ted Lindsay is for most outstanding. The Hart Trophy is for most valuable. Is there any difference in your mind? And the other question I have for you is, does your power play change at all when you have a right shot, Chase Onen's the net front, as opposed to Neil, which would give you 5 left shot guys?
I mean, the 2 awards, I think they're most of the time it boils down to the who had the best season. I mean, I think the difference is one's voted by the players, one's not. I mean, I don't see a huge difference in it. I know sometimes there are a couple different players, but if you're nominated for one of them, either of them obviously had an outstanding season. So to be nominated for both is a special thing. And I mean, my opinion is he's going to win them both. So, and I mean, arguably we could have had Connor voted in for one of them, or even 2 of them too. So I mean, those guys have had incredible seasons, and I want to keep it going here. And with the Chaser going on down low, I mean, for myself being on the kind of the left side half wall, it adds more of a low threat. On the other side, it's when Neither's down there, obviously that's the threat. So it changes a little bit. For me, it's a little bit more of an out, but at the same time, they're both very good in front of that, get a lot of those pucks, and can create from down there.
Next question from Adam Cook. Adam, as soon as your microphone's activated, you can ask a question.
Hi, Ryan. Just back to Leon for a quick second here. I mean, much has been made about his, his scoring prowess in recent years, but there's also his passing. I mean,
backhand like him. When he first came into the league, he seemed more of a passer than. We obviously know he can score. I mean, he puts up 50. That's an incredibly hard thing to do. So without sacrificing any of his playmaking abilities. So I mean, I think the biggest thing with him, he's good with the puck on his stick, making the plays, but he just sees the ice so well. He knows where guys are going to go, where guys are going to be, and can really find and read the play.
Next question, Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hi, Ryan. You were getting pretty close to getting into the bubble, and I'm just curious have you thought a little bit more about that? Is there anything you want to bring in there to kind of make it feel a little bit more like home and the possibility of spending up to 2 months in that place?
Yeah, it's still a little weird to think we're going to be going into it, but starting to get used to the idea now. And I don't know. We haven't really thought too much about what we're going to be bringing in. It's going to be a lot of cards playing and just hanging out around our 2 floors or 2 levels that we have, I guess. So try to stay busy, stay entertained as much as we can, and I don't know. I mean, we'll have to talk and figure out what to bring in.
Question from Jim Matheson. Jim, as soon as your microphone's unmuted, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Who's looking after all the dogs that you have during the hub? You can't bring the dogs into the hub.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could bring Sophie in, but I don't think that's allowed. So my wife, she'll probably be up and down between Red Deer and Edmonton, so she'll be looking after her, and we actually might have a little 8-week-old puppy here in the next couple of weeks for her to look after too. So she'll be staying busy.
Thanks very much, Ryan. That's it for Ryan, and we'll have Connor here shortly. Thank you very much. the raise hand function, and that'll put you in a queue. Also, a reminder to keep your cameras not active, just so we always have the video of Connor. So go ahead and use raise hand to ask your first questions. First questions from Reed Wilkins. Reed, go ahead.
All right, thanks, Andre, and thanks, Connor. And I'll be extremely unoriginal, Connor, and ask you the same question I just asked Nuge. Obviously, Leon's nomination for the Hart Trophy is pretty significant today. I mean, look, you've got to play with him. I think we knew he could be a very, very good player. In your mind, when did you start seeing Leon as like an awesome player who couldn't just be like a really good player in the league, but like he's become for this year, one of the top 3 players in the league?
Yeah, I mean, he's been a good player for a long time now. Obviously, he was great this year. You know, huge for us in all situations, and it's a super big accomplishment for him. You know, definitely happy to see him be recognized like that.
Next question will be from Derek Van Dies. Derek, as soon as your microphone's unmuted, you can ask your question.
Hey, Connor, lots of work on the power play and penalty kill today. I just wanted to get your opinion on what makes your power play so special and why was it so effective for you guys this season?
Our power play is good because we got good players. Ultimately, we can put together some good players out there. Obviously, myself, Nuge, Drat, Cleffer are out there most of the time, and you know, Nealer and Chaser kind of switch out in the net front. And it was some pretty good players that you know, read well off each other. Gully's done a great job working with us for a couple years now, and we've been able to run the same power play for 2 years now. So you know, we have lots of different looks. You know, we don't have to be stuck in one position. It's all very fluid, and that's been fun to be a part of it.
Next question from Tony Brar. Tony, as soon as your microphone is active, go ahead.
Connor, in the playoffs, 5-on-5, it really tightens up for both teams. So how much of a separator can that power play be in terms of getting you wins and moving on?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be big for your special teams. It's so big. You know, 5-on-5, like you said, it does tighten up, and there's not a whole lot there. You know, power play can get you timely goals, and your penalty kill needs to keep those goals out of your own net. So you know, it can definitely be a difference maker.
Next question, Jim Matheson. Jim, as soon as your microphone's active, you can go ahead.
Connor, I asked Nuge this question. What is the difference in your mind between the most outstanding player and the most valuable player? I mean, I know the players vote on the most outstanding, and we vote on the most valuable. Is there any difference, or how do you tell who's more valuable than anybody else in the National Hockey?
I mean, I think players are just voting for you know, who they view the MVP as. You know, they word it differently, I guess, but I think it's pretty much the same thing. It was just 2 different groups voting for it. So you know, either way, Leon's deserving of both.
Next question, Daniel Nugent-Bowman. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hey, Connor, I know you're a really big team guy. You're mostly concerned, obviously, about what happens in terms of wins and losses. But I'm just curious, you know, you finished second in league scoring, and you weren't one of the finalists for either the Lindsay or the Hart. Do you think there's something a little bit off with that in terms of maybe the type of award or the definition of them, you know, for somebody to finish second in the league and not be nominated or not be a finalist, rather?
It doesn't matter what I think. All that matters is what you know, the finalists are, and obviously all 3 guys are the same for both. So obviously the players and the media are on the same page, and you know, all 3 guys are very deserving.
Next question from Tony Brar. Tony, go ahead.
Nugent-Hopkins says he expects Leon to win both awards. Just wanted to get your take on that and how you think Leon's going to fare against his competition.
He probably should, but I don't have a lot of faith in the media voting, so I don't know who's going to win, but it should be Leon. I think the players will get it right and they'll vote Leon, but you never know with that media.
Next question, Jim Matheson. Jim, as soon as your microphone's active, go ahead.
I won't respond to that. I'll leave that one alone. The question I have for you is, you're getting ready to go into the hub. Are you taking anything special in there? You can't take your dog in there. I already asked Nuge. So is there anything you might want to take in there for possibility of a couple of months that you couldn't do without?
That's a good question. I haven't thought too much about it. I mean, there's not going to be a ton to do, so there's going to be lots of time to hang out with the guys and watch games or just sit around and talk. I don't really know what we're going to do, but it's obviously we're there for a reason, and we're there to win games, and we have to be focused on that.
We'll take one final question from Adam Cook. Adam, as soon as your microphone's active, and go ahead.
Connor, obviously, every guy that makes it to the NHL is ultra competitive. But on any given night, how would you describe Leon's level of competitiveness? Just going in for any game, doesn't really matter what it is. But how would you just kind of characterize his level of motivation and competitiveness?
I mean, any guy that leads the league in scoring and puts up those type of numbers and plays penalty kill and does all that type of stuff, that's a sign of consistency and that's a sign of bringing it each and every night. It's not an easy league. It's not an easy league to produce in, but someone to do that each and every night, like he's done for a few years now, honestly, it's obviously impressive, and it's fun to be. Play with them and work with them.
Thank you very much, Connor, and we'll be back with the head coach shortly. Thank you. Coach Dave Tippett now with us. A reminder to ask your questions, use the raise hand function, and that'll put you in a queue to ask questions to Coach Tippett. And a reminder also, make sure your microphone's working and make sure you're not activating your camera. So go ahead and use the raise hand function and we'll start taking questions right away. First question from Jim Matheson. 1 second here. Go ahead, Jim. As soon as your microphone's active, go ahead.
Dave, we've asked the players what they may take into the hub. Is there anything special you want to take into the hub, apart from a case of your finest wine or a coffee maker? What do you want to take in?
No, I think I'm going to treat it just like a road trip. And so you go in there with change of clothes and coaches end up watching a lot of video anyway, so you'll be preoccupied with that, I'm sure, with so many games going on and lots of between games to watch and on your computer and games to watch, that'll be entertainment enough and getting your team ready. So pretty much standard stuff, not planning on anything different.
Next question, Mark Spector. Mark, as soon as your microphone's unmuted, go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, you moved Evan Bouchard into a different group today. Have you been not as happy with his play, or is it? What are you doing that for? What?
We needed a certain number. It was power play penalty kill today, and we needed an extra defenseman on the penalty kill, and that's not Bush's strength. So he skated with the other group today early. So it's nothing more than just numbers, trying to get numbers down and make sure we got the right numbers for special teams today.
Next question, Derek Van Diest. Derek, as soon as your microphone's unmuted, you can ask your question. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, I wanted to ask you about the power play. I guess, is it more than just having that much talent on a unit that made you guys so successful? What was it about your power play unit that gave you guys the success it did this year?
Well, I would agree that we got talented players, but I like the work they put into it. They've played together a long time. Glenn Gullickson's done a nice job with them and making sure we're organized and the different options. So they work at it. They realize that's a big part of our team. The players are they're dug into it hard. They work at it, and we were able to find some success.
Next question, Jim Matheson. Jim, just look for your microphone to get unmuted and then go ahead.
Dave, I've asked Nugent and Connor the same thing. In your mind, is there a difference between a most outstanding player and a most valuable player? I know most outstanding player is often the guy with the best stats in a regular season, and the Hart Trophy is for most valuable. In your mind, is there a difference?
I think you can combine both of them because you can't be a most valuable without being outstanding, right? So first part is being an outstanding player, and then you become the most valuable. That's they kind of go hand in hand. You know, when a guy is an outstanding player, he's contributing to the success of the team. And I think in Leon's, you know, I'm sure you're talking about Leon here for the Hart, but he's an outstanding player with good stats, but he also a very, very valuable player to our team. So I think they go hand in hand a little bit. I wouldn't pick one over the other.
Next question, Reed Wilkins. Go ahead, Reed.
Hi, Dave. Got to think of different Leon questions than the ones we asked you last week when he was up for the other award. I'll throw you a bit of a two-parter here. Can you kind of sum up what we saw from Leon as a leader this year? It seemed to me he's been more willing to sort of embrace that over the last couple of seasons. And my other question is a very specific one. Draisaitl on his backhand. Like, is he one of the deadliest players you've ever seen as a coach or a player when he's on his backhand?
Well, I'll start with that one. Yeah, his skill set is unbelievable, and he the ability to get the puck away quick and accurate on the backhand is something that not all players have in their bag of tools, and he's definitely up there as one of the best in the game. I think some of that he spent a lot of time watching Datsuk on tape, and that Datsuk, was his puck skills and backhand skills were outstanding. I think Leon has tried to go in that vein a little bit, but you watch him, he passes the puck as well backhand as he does forehand. So that part of his game is a big part of it. And all you can say is his wingers better be ready, because there's times when you think he can't get it to you, and he'll zing it to you on the backhand that you don't think is possible, and it'll get there. So that part of his game is certainly a strength. As far as his leadership, I look at our young core of top players between Connor and Leon, Klepp. I mean, that whole core, Nuge is in there. That whole core is continuing to mature, and they're the core that drives our team. So the leadership they show is both on the ice and off the ice. Players or your team recognizes the ability they have to play on the ice, but also the leadership and the motivation to win off the ice has to come through also. And that's where I see Connor and I see Leon, Nuge, all these guys. They continue to grow because they want to win, and everything they do every day is geared towards getting our team to a level where we feel like we can win on a very consistent basis and give ourselves a chance to be a top team in this league. So that maturity from those guys continues to evolve, but you can certainly see steps. Even, I mean, I've only been around 1 year here, but I've seen steps throughout this year to watch them evolve into better leaders. So it's good for our group that they're taking that responsibility, and they'll continue to grow in that end of things.
Another question from Jim Matheson. Jim, as soon as your microphone's active, you can ask away. Go ahead.
I want to ask you about the scrimmage tomorrow night. It's a night scrimmage. Is that just because you get used to playing a game at night? And how do you break the teams down? I mean, you've got the line with Leon and the line with Connor. I presume they would be on opposing teams.
Yeah, we're going to separate them for tomorrow. We've got a night game because 2 of our first 3 games are at night, and then the 1 o'clock game on Saturday is similar to our first game at 1 o'clock against Chicago. So we're just trying to get used to everything. We're going to use different dressing rooms here. We're just trying to make it as real as possible. So when we get to the real stuff, nothing catches you by surprise.
Thank you very much, Coach Tippett, and thanks to members of the media. That brings to an end today's availability. Files of audio and video will be sent out shortly. Thank you.